When you feel like giving up, feel like you're turning back, back, back. Ooh,
Greetings and welcome to Ancient Current Rastafari Roots and Culture. I have in the Zoom room tonight Greg Roy. Greg Roy is a Boston, Massachusetts-based reggae artist, hailing originally from Jamaica. Greg Roy brings straightforward lyrics, straightforward fire with warmth and love he shares with his audience. Welcome, Greg Roy, to Ancient Current.
Greetings.
How are you doing?
I groovy today. Like giving thanks,
Perfect. Can you share what you're doing musically these days?
Well, I'm just building audience around Florida. Basically, we play a lot of the local places around to build our audience here because we're realizing that we needed that groundwork, so we're doing that right now. There's been a few notable events, but we're basically performing right now.
Okay. Nice. So one song of yours I really appreciate is the song The Pressure. And I feel like in these times, we're living in real serious times. We've got COVID, we've got war, we've got skyrocketing gas prices. What do you think people need most in these times?
I think, well, first let me start by saying, my way of thinking and seeing things is much different from many people. People need to reimagine and rethink the way that they live their daily lives. I really do think that because, we have more than what we need to survive. But sometimes we get caught in the chasing of something, I too, you know. But yeah, we need to reimagine the way we live. That's what we need to do right now.
I like it.
Yeah.
Can you share about your path with Rastafari? Were you born into it? Did you have family members, Rastas, or is this something you came to in your path on your own?
Yeah, well, yeah, it came, I didn't go searching. I was minding my merry own business and all this. Oh, yeah, just it came. But I'm thankful for a few people who meet me along the way and saw what was going on even before I did and took the time out to, help with with the guidance, and the directions and things like that. But I'm from a family where there is, Rastafarians among my family members, but it wasn't like the big thing. My family is more about the church. I've I have many family members who are pastors and reverends and deacons and people who just own a church or the space that is used as the church. I've had cousins, first cousins, that were youth pastors and stuff like that. So we're really from a Christian religious background, so this thing just happened, and I appreciate it and I give thanks for it. I look forward to where it may take I and I.
Can I ask more questions on that? Do you mind?
You can ask, yeah, man.
All right. Was that a difficult thing to break out of with family influence being within the church? Did that make your journey harder?
No, I think I think like among some family members too, like I have a uncle who he passed away now, who is a reverend, and we would argue a lot, but it wasn't like how people argue regularly. Like he would just try to make sure that I was thinking in right mind. You know, he always tried to make sure that I knew what I was saying. He always tried to make sure, like, so he never said to me, like, you shouldn't say that or you shouldn't do that. But we would get like in really heated argument with with proving points just because he wants to make sure that you're not blindly following something, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And I knew it early that this is what he was doing, so it wasn't hard for me to have those deep, dark conversations about the path, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And I think I've had an aunt try to pay me to cut my hair, and you know, and,
Woo!
and she was, you know, and it's not like like back then, you know, that it was a lot of money back then. But she was like, "I'll give this to you if you cut your hair," and
Mm.
you know, and you know, it just wasn't me, you know.
Can you
You know,
share? Can you share about the significance of dreadlocks?
I would imagine that it means something different to everyone.
Mm.
You know, for me, it's not a style. You know, I just feel like I want to see what I look like as I should.
Mm.
You know, like this is how I would naturally look. A lot of people out there, they don't know how they would naturally look. You know,
Yeah.
and I keep wanting to see what kind of flower I become. You know, so
Beautiful.
that's kind of one one way how I've been looking at it. You know,
Mm.
and then everyone have to carry them burdens. Yeah,
Mm.
everyone have to carry them burdens. Sometimes I care how rough it is. That's another situation that I'm looking at these days too. Is that sometimes you just have to carry your burden.
Mm.
You know what I mean? Because you know, I just say go. I just
Mm.
say go. Even when you can't, you feel like you can't do it. Even when you feel like there is no other way, to just you have to just do it anyway and just see what would happen. Because if I was listening to people, I would
Mm-hmm.
have never looked like how I look. I probably would never be alive.
Mm.
You know. So I have to see for myself. When it comes on to stuff like that, it's gonna be a lot of me and I in what I say, and it's because this is how it really is. Only you know,
Mm-hmm.
you know,
Mm-hmm.
only you
Yeah.
know.
And that's why, I'm having you here today. And that's what I love to hear in these interviews, these times for an outpouring of self, like what is your version? What is your perfect version for you? And I think through that, it gives every individual their own strength to be their own version. Where do you draw your strength and inspiration?
Oh, from everyday interactions, you know, from everyday people and interactions, because you know you learn so much from people if you observe them. You know, you learn so much from people if you allow them to just be who they are. You know, you learn about yourself too,
Mm-hmm.
because you learn about what you are willing to deal with and what you're not willing to deal with, your own strengths and weakness by observing your surrounding. So a lot of the things I sing about is my own personal experience with people. You know, I don't try to think about the fairy tale part of life. You know, I really, I really base a lot of what I'm saying from personal experiences, which is why in my songs I don't try to tell people. I make suggestion based on my own experience, and then a person can listen to that story and listen to what what was said, just like when they go and read a book,
Mm-hmm.
and then they can apply it to the way they live and the way they see things.
Nice. Can you talk about herb?
Yeah, we can. Like, yeah, it definitely helps. It helps. In many ways, it helps, right? I don't have any real strong um reliance on it. Like I don't really rely on it for anything. But it does help because what this world is lightning fast, and sometimes a little thing to slow you down is never
Mm.
bad. Just to be able to see what's going on because you miss so much trying to keep up with everything that's going on, especially when you're surrounded with with people. A person who's surrounded with trees and animals, well, other animals, they have a different outlook, you
Mm-hmm.
know. So for me, I use it for many reasons, like for appetite. I use it so I can eat. I use it so I can sleep. I use it for relax. Like we could keep going. We could keep going. But like I said, like I'm not trying to promote the use of the thing
Mm-hmm.
with responding to 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 this question, but uh, yeah, it's like it's not like something that I depend on. Like
Mm-hmm.
I meditate all on my own with a glass of water. I'm fasting, but
Amen.
it helps.
Mm-hmm.
you know, this thing. Yeah.
Cool. Good. Thanks. So one of my favorite Greg Roy songs is Call on Ja, and I had a personal experience with that song. I had been listening to it fairly heavy about a year ago, and a friend of mine who was also a massage client was going to give birth to her first child, and it had invited me to the birth. And 24 hours in, still no baby. She's losing strength in the birthing tub, and I just had a moment of wishing I could do something for her, and I just started singing that song to her. It was like when you feel like giving up, when you feel like giving in. And I don't know her response to it because she was far in labor land at that point. But maybe it gave me more strength than it gave to her. But I just want to share as a listener how powerful it is to be on this side. So can you share a little bit of background to that song, Kalanja?
So I made the instrumental for a friend of mine. I went up to his studio and made the instrumental. You know, I was experimenting with that scale. And then after I made the instrumental, he recorded some friends of his, artist he was producing at the time on the rhythm. And then he called me back to come and mix the rhythm. And so while I was there mixing the rhythm, he said to me, when are you going to record? And I was saying to him, well, I played all these phrases. And they're like, I played them. It's like, what am I going to sing? Like, it wouldn't be fair to all these other people that sat in here and spent so much time to record their song. And then him started to pressure me about recording. And then I said, all right, but there was a lot going on too within the time. I was dealing with a whole heap of things. Like, being a struggling father, musician, and so it was a lot was going on. And so while I went into the recording booth and said, all right, let me do something, because just to get him to stop nagging me. And then I decided to check my phone, and it's like the world was falling apart on there. It's like friends, like personal friends, was crying about situations that they're in, and then I'm trying to handle that by texting because it's an emergency. They're stuck on the road between 2 points, basically. So as a female stuck on the road, it's it's a scary thing.
Mm-hmm.
And so I started saying that to the person on the phone, and they said, "Oh, that's the song." It's like, "That's the song." I was like, "No, I was just singing to my friend because she's crying. Our car broke down coming from Uchirias, and she don't know anybody." And so I was singing that to her, just to say, because you can't. It's not otherwise you can talk to a person like you could, yeah. It's not all the time you could talk to a person like you know what their struggles are, or like you know what they're feeling. It really come across hurtful sometimes. So I was singing this to the person, and they recorded it and then played it back for me, and it sounded good, but not on the rhythm or anything, Just recorded me singing it to the person, and it sounded good, and we just one take, really. Just one take. That's why the second verse sounds like that, because I was thinking about what I wanted to say, and all those things just happened. The whole song was just one time down. And a friend of mine, Inifa, who was at the studio at this time, she was singing backgrounds for Jimmy Cliff. And so she decided she wanted to do the backgrounds. So the original version of the song has her singing the backgrounds on there, and it has a trombone on there, and my younger brother playing drums on there. But that version was just never publicly aired,
Okay. Oh,
And it
that's
grew from
beautiful.
there and saved my life many times. Let me tell you, even these days, many times I find myself in a situation as if like I shouldn't even talk to people, Like it makes no sense. Nobody cares. I see that song now is like, as it grows, by the time I released that song with a full band and all the growth, all these other struggles that's been going on in my life will make it more and more meaningful. All the people who have been hearing it for the past 15 years, it will mean something more to them when it comes around new again.
That's what the ancient current is all about. It's like it can be something from so long ago, or even like really ancient, the roots coming through, but it's always current because it fits and it still sounds right. Can you talk about your summer plans for music?
For Greenwood's Reggae, is that in Maine or Vermont?
It's Maine. Yeah, Brunswick, Maine now.
Yeah. That one definitely, I definitely want to do that one. I love those people. And I just love the atmosphere there. And, last year I was there and we were camping and it was so nice, And I think I'm confirmed for the Higher Education Festival.
Oh, great.
I think I'm playing on the 27th of August, I think. I think it's the last day.
Okay.
What else up that way? I'm still talking with the guys from Skyfest, to see what we can really do about that, because it's really far.
Okay.
And one of the issues is I don't drive. So that's another thing that I have to sort out this summer. Like it's a lot of personal stuff that I have to slow down for a minute and handle.
Sure. Well, one thing that I remember from Greenwood's Reggae Revival last year, you were there and I was in the back cooking during your set, cooking up some good food, and I could hear you and I could kind of see, but I was like busy cooking. And at one point I took a break so that I could like enter that area. And when I look up and I walk up there, there's like 30 people on the stage all of a sudden. Like it went, I mean, as far as I knew, you started out with just yourself and the band. And then by the end of the set, you had like half the audience, not quite, but you had a ton of people up there. And, I see the Greg Roy experience, and that sticks for me, that you were just so like
Yeah,
big and warm and welcoming. And so I encourage any
yeah,
listeners, if you have the chance to get the Greg Roy experience live and direct, do so, because it's a beautiful thing.
yeah. That whole experience was like, like I was as surprised as everybody else, when other people tell me what they saw and how they were feeling. Like sometimes I don't respond by saying, listen, I was just as surprised as you are. Like I didn't plan all that. I was saying, like the Barefoot Truth Dance Company, they did a major part of making it special also, they created a space where I could open a door like that, have more people and have the audience join me on stage too, And my band, that particular band, those group of guys, they're coming up from New York, so they were really happy to be playing. So it was a lovely experience, and I give thanks for the Greenwood Reggae Festival.
Yeah, man. Good. Thanks. Beautiful. Can you share where people can find you online?
Oh yeah, they could always look at gregroymusic.com. You know, there's I don't really do a lot of updates there, but my show updates are always there. Information about where I'm playing next is always there. Um, you can find me on Instagram, Greg Roy Music. You can find me on Facebook, Greg Roy Music. And Twitter, Greg Roy Music. You can look up the link tree, Greg Roy Music. You'll see a link to the videos on YouTube, Greg Roy Music. And everything is Greg Roy Music.
Perfect.
And it's like easy to remember and all that wonderful thing.
Nice. Is there anything else you want to share?
Yes, that song was released recently with Solar Project. It's called Burn the Corruption. I've seen people commented on it because the cover image of the track has like the US dollar burning. Some people thinking I'm saying burn the money, but it's the corruption. It's not, it has nothing to do with money. It has to do with what the song is saying. A lot is being said in the music, but you know what it is like these days. People put music on mostly for dance. There's very few of us that put music on for relaxation and put music on for, like hearing other ways of how messages get transmitted. So hopefully, it's not doing bad. I think it's doing okay. I'm trying to do a video for it, and so for this summer, hopefully we could have a video for that one and blast that one everywhere. And I think by August the album should be ready. The artist that did this paint work is the artist that is doing the album cover.
Beautiful.
So it should be really nice.
Sweet.
It should be nice. But
Well, thank you, Greg Roy, for being here today. You've been tuned in to Ancient Current, Rastafari Roots and Culture. It's been a pleasure to have you here. Everyone, check out Greg Roy online. Get out to see some live music when you have a chance. Blessed love.